Bam, we're here. We made it. Man, that was interesting. Couple technical difficulties with my equipment, but here we are. Um I also had a very cool. So my wife was like, "I probably shouldn't do laundry before the show, right?" And I said, no, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it." And you can clearly hear the laundry. That's awesome. Great. And I also had this ominous fly that I could hear way less than I can hear that that washing machine. Wow, what a disaster. Um, man, lots going on this week, folks. As you can see, it's just me solo. This is ridiculous. Um, the show must go on. It's me solo. Matt had some family issues to take care of. So he couldn't join us tonight, but that's all right. Here we are. The show must go on. And wow, that's ridiculous. Embarrassing. So some interesting things have been happening in the world of the paranormal and strange. And one of those things, this is ridiculous. Hold on a second, folks. I will be right back. This this is absolutely insane. Hold on. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right. All right. What an absolute disaster. It was on the spin cycle and it sounded like a 747. Okay, we're back. So, a lot of interesting crazy things have been happening in the world of the paranormal and strange. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but somebody claimed to have found a primate skull in British Columbia. Now, this person, he didn't outright say, "Oh, the skull of Bigfoot," but he alluded to it. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But that's like the main topic because it really angered me. Because of course I was excited. I woke up what was it, Thursday morning, and I woke up to my phone blown up, and so many people reached out to me to tell me about this Coyote Peterson thing and the skull that he found in the woods of British Columbia. I had fallen asleep early that night, so I had no idea what everybody was talking about. And I woke to see this craziness. And of course, I was excited. But immediately, the skull looked ape like. It looked like a primate skull to me. And uh, against my better judgment, my brain was telling me, well, we think that Bigfoot is a primate, you know? And I went with it. I thought I was looking at the scale of his hand in comparison to the skull, and I was like, I would think that a Bigfoot skull would be a lot bigger, but then again, I've never seen Bigfoot myself. So I kind of I gave Coyote the benefit of the doubt because what I thought was, okay, this guy's an influencer. He's a huge, YouTube celebrity. He's got a big channel. Kids follow him, adults follow him, and he's really popular. And I've heard him on some pretty big podcasts. So I gave him some credibility a little bit. I put the cart ahead of the horse, so to speak. And I regret it now because I shared it around thinking that it was interesting, to say the least. So I shared it around and started doing some research of my own. And I ran across a comment from Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum, who is like one of the leading Bigfoot researchers on the planet right now. And he had mentioned that it definitely wasn't a Bigfoot skull, and that it looked like a fake skull that you can buy online. And I did some research, and I guess we're talking about the fake Bigfoot stuff now. um, so I did some research, and the first website I pulled up and the first fake gorilla skull I looked at was almost it was identical to the skull that Coyote found. His was clearly weathered, um, whether purposefully or whatever. Now, could he have ran across this skull by chance that somebody planted it there, hoping that somebody would find it eventually and make big news about it, and then ha ha ha, it's a fake skull. Just kidding. Or did Coyote perpetrate this whole thing himself? I think he perpetrated the whole thing himself. I think he was going for what everybody else thought he was, clickbait. And it's really a shame because hoaxes like that really have a negative effect on the Bigfoot research community. There's people like me who believe that Bigfoot is real. Um, that when things like this come up, we're like, wow, this could possibly be proof. It's an actual primate. That's insane. So my bad for jumping to conclusions. I really didn't think that somebody of his popularity would, you know, commit a fraud like this. And in my opinion, it really damages his credibility. And a lot of people that were fans were like, this is messed up. Like I said, I've seen him on podcasts and some other content before. I've seen his videos. I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I thought what he did was pretty cool and entertaining. This was not pretty cool, nor was it entertaining to me. I just, it really is a shame. Because it just gets the people that doubt the existence of Sasquatch to go, see, there's no Sasquatch out there. What a bunch of BS. You know what I mean? So I'm super disappointed that Coyote would do that. But, the search goes on. That's not going to stop the hardcore Bigfoot researchers from going out there and continuing the search, the hunt to find hardcore proof of its existence. It's just a shame, you know. Um, gosh, I should have known just looking at the skull, because like I said, he didn't outright say Sasquatch skull found, but there was definitely some hints to, wow, how crazy, a primate skull in the wilderness of British Columbia in the Pacific Northwest. Gee, I wonder what giant primate, we think of when we think of the Pacific Northwest. We sure don't think of gorillas. And looking at the skulls side by side, the skull that he found and an actual prop Bigfoot, prop gorilla skull, they look damn near identical. So it really is a shame. I don't want to make this entire episode about that though, but I definitely wanted to make it known that these hoaxes are doing no good, especially like you see on TikTok and on YouTube and Facebook, these videos of supposed Sasquatch that are clearly not. And it's just like, why? What's the point? Is it really just clickbait? Is that what you want to get famous for? Is your BS video? It's remarkable what people will do to get some likes and some video views um I don't know if I don't know if I could find it in my heart to fake something without, disclosing first. Like if I wanted to do a video like how easy it would be to fake something, that would be different. But, I would never post a video of a fake. I don't know. Let's just say I was in Coyote's position and I found a skull that could possibly be mistaken for a Bigfoot skull. You're never going to catch me trying to trying to create a hoax to fool people, because at the end of the day, I have to go, "Oh, just kidding. It was just a joke." And then boom, Chris from Talking Paranormal is a BS artist. You know what I mean? I can't do that. But what I can do is talk about hoaxes that are ridiculous, and that was absolutely ridiculous. We've heard of people faking footprints and, you know, the video evidence, obviously, that we talked about. It's just funny that, none of it's actually good, but it gives the skeptics something to go see, you know, and like with the Patterson Gimlin footage, it's amazing to me how many people still think it's a hoax and it's just a guy in a suit, when time and time again, it has never been proven to be fake. And on the same token, oh well, it's never been proven to be real. But there's been certain studies of this video. This is the most analyzed piece of video footage in the world, in history, from what I understand. And it shows a Sasquatch. It shows a Bigfoot, and we're still wondering if it exists. I do a lot of research on the subject, and I recently saw a video from a great channel. What's its name? Thinker Thunker, something like that. I think it's Thinker Thunker. Anyway, the guy does a lot of, compelling research, and he released this video about how to spot fakes, when it comes to Bigfoot, and he analyzed the Patterson Gimlin film. And one thing that he mentioned that I know I've heard it before, but it never really cemented into my brain, and that was that human limbs are not equal in length. Okay, so if you compare the arms of a regular human, to the legs, the arms are like something like 16% shorter than legs. So he goes through footage and he analyzes these purported Bigfoots and compares the leg size to the arm size. And in several, they were immediately denounced as fake. And in the Patterson Gimlin footage, lo and behold, the arms and the legs are equal. So it's the science of measurement. And we always talk about having scientific proof, you know? Um, and he lined it right up with the Patterson Gimlin footage, and lo and behold, equal length. That to me, I mean, you're talking about scientific proof. Now, granted, we don't have the Bigfoot to actually measure in person, but based on what I saw in his video, I was pretty impressed. Now, can I say that that's concrete proof of Bigfoot? No, I can't. But you got, you know, researchers like Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum who have casts. And this guy is he's an educator. He's a professional. He's a doctor. And he believes that there's something to this whole Bigfoot thing. Now, we can go back and forth about experts and say, oh, well, some experts are just Looney Tunes. Yeah, I'll agree. I'll concede to that. But the research that this man has done on these footprints is probably, I'd say, some of the best in the field. And when you talk about the mid-tarsal breaks, the dermal ridges, and the characteristics of the anatomy of these footprints, to fake something like that, you would have to be an expert in, the anatomy of humans and primates. And I don't think any hoaxer out there is an expert in bipedalism, so to just discount the existence of Bigfoot based on no dead body is ridiculous to me. And, I've gotten into several discussions with people that would have no business even talking about Bigfoot, but I bring it up because I'm curious. Does the average person believe that Bigfoot exists. Now, you'd be surprised at how many people will say, absolutely not. Um, Almost as surprised as you would be when you talk to people that say, oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. Or then you got the middle of the road people that are like, I don't know, it's possible. And that's the whole premise of this show. When we review these videos, it's like we don't know if they're fake or not. Some of them are blatantly fake. Some of them are like convincing to be real. But anything's possible. And a lot of the evidence that I've seen when it comes to Bigfoot is pretty compelling. Compelling enough for me to start a podcast and with my friend Matt and talk about how we believe this creature exists. Now, I, I don't want to, I'm not the type of guy to be proud of being a Looney Tune. You meet some people that talk about like crows aren't real and they're like drones for the government and they're spying on you. Pigeons aren't real. Things like that, like so far fetched. Even the flat earth theory, everybody discounts it. I discount it for sure. Um, but I want to have a flat earth expert on this show sometime to try to convince me and Matt that the earth is flat. I don't think it's possible because I don't believe it's flat. Now, have I ever been up in a spaceship and seen the Earth as a globe? No, I have not. But and I have been up in a plane and I've looked out the window and thought to myself, looks pretty damn flat. I still don't think it's a flat Earth, but it's still interesting to hear the different viewpoints. And like with cryptids, I think about the Jersey Devil. You know, a winged creature with a horse face. It's like uh just craziness out there. Lizard people, the dog man, werewolves. We talk about this stuff and it's like some of it seems so far-fetched, but there's like, where there's smoke there's fire. Like these flat earth people who I don't want to call crazy because I believe in some crazy stuff. um and I believe that there's enough evidence for me to believe in that stuff. And the flat earth people believe that there is evidence to support the idea that the earth is not a globe like we have been told. I have not seen any convincing enough evidence for me to join with them and go, yeah, you might be right. Now, some of their conspiracy theories are definitely like surrounding the flat earth are definitely interesting. Um, Especially when it comes to Antarctica, and why we're not allowed to go exploring. That's a big question I've always had. Why can't we go to Antarctica? Now, in a future episode, I really want Matt to be here for when we talk about this, but I've been going knee deep into some documentaries about what I thought was originally a full body apparition. Now, Matt and I reviewed this footage a few episodes ago, and it was the Sir No Face footage where you see a full body apparition. So I thought, you know, we just played the short clip and I really wanted to see what the rest of the documentary was about. So I watched it and it was amazing. The thing that interested me even more than that was it was a series. It was part of a series of documentaries about that particular piece of footage that went down this insane rabbit hole. It took a turn from ghosts straight into alien conspiracy. I could not believe it. If you would have told me that this documentary that basically tries to disprove this footage of an apparition ended up taking a left turn into UFOs and aliens, I would have laughed and said, what kind of kooky Looney Tunes stuff are you trying to get me to watch? But I watched the whole series of documentaries. There's like 4 of them. So the first one is Sir No Face. The second one is Two Face, the Gray. The third one is what is the third one? Phantom Rider. I think there's only 3. Did I say 4? I think there's only 3. Anyways, they're really good documentaries. If so, I don't want to spoil it. So you'll definitely have to go see Sir No Face. I think you can find it for free online or on YouTube. Then you have Two Face the Gray, and then I believe the last one is um, Phantom Rider. They're really good. You have to watch them if you're open minded enough to see how you can go from talking about a full body apparition into alien conspiracy and how the government is going to fake an alien invasion um, to get us to become a one world government to prepare us for the real alien invasion. It's I know that sounds crazy on the surface, but I'm telling you, it is a great a set of documentaries. So go watch all three of them. Tell me what you think. I'm curious. I'm trying to get. I don't know if Matt has watched any of them yet. Because after I watched them, I said, Matt, you got to check these out. This is insane. Now I don't know if you guys know about Operation High Jump, but that plays an integral role in the second film. I believe it's the second film. And I mean, the Men in Black make an appearance in the. I mean, it is crazy. And Chad Kalick, the creator of the filmmaker, the documentarian, is he seems credible to me. As insane as the subject matter sounds when you just say it, he seems absolutely 100% credible to me. He was actually a cast member of um, the A&E show Paranormal State. And as it turns out, although he was just a simple cast member on the show, he's actually been involved in the music industry, and he's got some interesting stories about that, with Hollywood and the occult. Um, he's got a great podcast called In a Crowded Room. You can find that on YouTube. Very entertaining. I'll be talking about some of the stuff that he talks about because it's insane. But definitely go check those videos out. But, when you talk about credibility, it's amazing to me how people would like Coyote, going back to the whole Bigfoot skull hoax. Why would you risk your career on a hoax? Because for somebody like me, if like I'll never watch Coyote stuff now. Now before, if he had really found a primate skull in British Columbia, Bigfoot or not, if he found a gorilla skull, there's questions. Why did it end up there? Um, it's really concerning because there's poachers out there and, a whole black market with exotic animals. So if let's just say that we find out because he said he smuggled the skull, and I guess there was another video that basically um, shine some light on the whole thing that it was all BS and it was for some sort of I, I would go ahead and call it a publicity stunt. But regardless, if he had discovered a primate skull, a real primate skull in British Columbia and smuggled it, you're talking about some serious criminal repercussions that he's going to have to face. But even then, like I said, there's questions about how a primate skull would end up in the woods in British Columbia. But if you're just trying to get publicity, there's a lot better ways to do it, I think, and your credibility won't be at stake. Because now I don't want to watch any of your videos, dude, because you're a BS artist. I don't care what you've done. And, just getting so many people that are passionate about the subject excited and then, shutting us down. What a bad move, dude. What a bad move. And the amount of people, what was messed up was the amount of people that reached out to me. Matt was one of them. He actually reached out to me. I passed out early the night before, and he sent me some information about it at like 8:30, and I didn't get it until 4 a.m. when I woke up. And I saw everybody else that had sent me the links and stuff. I feel bad because all of them were excited to tell me about this because they know how passionate I am about the subject of Bigfoot. And then it turns out to be a bunch of BS. Man, it makes me mad. Like, because I do want Bigfoot to be real. You hear a lot of people say nobody wants Bigfoot to be real more than me. I'm one of those guys. Nobody wants Bigfoot to be real more than me. Oh man, it really pisses me off. Hoaxers really piss me off. Some of them think it's funny. I'm sure Coyote Peterson's getting a good laugh at all the people that he got riled up about all this. But to people serious about the subject matter, we should be pissed. But I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and because I know I was one of the people that was like, check this out, this is crazy. But when you got a bunch of primatologists coming out and saying, hey, that's a Western lowland gorilla, dead to rights, experts saying this is BS, this ain't no Bigfoot. then you got to go, okay, throw your hands up. And, I saw the fake skulls myself. So of course I put out a couple short videos on it, but, yeah, ridiculous, you know? So if you're out there thinking maybe I'll hoax a Bigfoot sighting or some Bigfoot evidence just to get some attention, I would strongly advise against it, because even if it did make you famous for a minute, guess what? You're going to be the biggest flash in the pan, and nothing will ever happen to you because you'll never get rich hoaxing a Bigfoot video. Especially, you might fool some people, but when it comes right down to it and you get caught in a lie, you're screwed. So I would advise against it. But like I said earlier, there's plenty if you really go looking, there is plenty of evidence out there to suggest that there is a creature that we call Bigfoot out in the wilderness. You know, there's so many areas of uncharted wilderness in the United States alone that you can't discount the possibility. I just I'm still a believer. I want to believe that Bigfoot exists. Um, but then you get into the subject and you hear all these supernatural elements involved, and that's where I'm more of a flesh and blood guy. I think that Bigfoot is a flesh and blood creature, but then you hear like trail cams, like almost the same types of things with ghosts. And that's where the whole humor with the ghost squatch, the mascot of Talking Paranormal comes in, and the creature on my shirt. That what if Bigfoot is a ghost? And I saw somebody write something about what if it's a caveman ghost, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about. What if Bigfoot's a ghost? But you hear these supernatural elements, like Bigfoot's been seen with UFOs, and you know the trackways vanishing without a trace of where the creature possibly went, crazy things like that. People shooting this thing and it disappearing. Um, you hear stuff like that, and you have to wonder, it's like, are these people crazy, or is there something to this? Now, we know that for at least hundreds of years, Native American tribes all around have had tales of wild men, giants, cannibalistic giants, crazy stories like that. And they say that there's some supernatural elements. And we know that Native Americans talk about a lot of supernatural stuff. We also know that they've talked about aliens. So uh, you're never going to hear me stop saying this. And that's that the world that we know, or we think we know, isn't quite as simple as it may seem on the surface. Who knows what we could discover, you know? Um, but the hoaxes and stuff, like wading through the amount of BS on TikTok and looking through videos is, man, it's mind numbing at times. And I try to pick ones that I'm like, okay, that could be real. I would love to have a video expert on the show sometime. I'm sure Matt would agree. Um, that would be able to help us like point out the frauds, because I'm no video expert. I have to look for different characteristics of videos for me to go, okay, that looks like a bunch of BS, but definitely no expert. So I do have a bunch of videos lined up for us to watch and review. So now that I've said my piece about the Bigfoot skull hoax and how pissed off I am because of it, because was I fooled? Yes, I was fooled for about 2 hours. Because something that crazy, you have to, if you're someone like me, you got to dig into it a little bit and see just how insane uh, the whole thing is. And as it turns out, it was absolutely nuts. It was insane. And the guy at work I was talking to, I was training a new guy at work, and I had asked him about Bigfoot because he had spent some time in the woods, and he said no, doesn't exist. And I said, really? So we had talked about everything that I would say to somebody who doesn't believe Bigfoot exists, and I'll be like, what about the footprints that show anatomical correctness? I guess that's the term I use. It could be wrong, but with the mid-tarsal break, the dermal ridges, and the characteristics of a real foot, the anatomy of a real foot. Like, how can you say that a hoaxer And some of these tracks have been found so far out in the wilderness. If you were a hoaxer and you put those tracks in, the forest will eat them up real quick. So you got to hope that somebody will run across those quick. You know what I mean? So why would you hoax Bigfoot tracks that were, and you would have to do the research to make sure you got them correct so that they wouldn't be discounted right away. That's a hell of a hoax to pull off. Um, is it possible though? Yes, I guess. But, talking to this kid, I was like, man, what do you say to evidence like that? And he's really like, well, I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. So I see this skull thing and I'm still training the guy. So I show him it. I'm like, look at this. And he's like, eh. But I know somebody who's claimed to see, that has claimed to have seen Bigfoot. Okay. And I work with him and I walked in and I saw one of my buddies who believes in Bigfoot and I saw him who has apparently seen Bigfoot. I said, "Did you guys see the news?" And they both said yes. And I was like, that immediately told me, wow, word of this this alleged Bigfoot skull is traveling fast. Everybody that I know that's a Bigfoot person, a believer, already knows about it, you know. And the guy who said he had seen Bigfoot said, "Oh, it's a gorilla skull, man. I've seen Bigfoot. It did not have a mouth like that." Because if you look at the gorilla skull, you can kind of see the shape of the muzzle. Of the mouth of this thing looks like a monkey and or an ape or primate. And he goes, "It did not look like that. I saw a good side profile of the thing, and it looked like a man." And when somebody, I've probably read hundreds of sighting reports of Bigfoot, and they all say the same thing, and that's that Bigfoot looks more like a man than an animal. So I still ride with the relict hominin or hominoid theory that there could potentially be ancestors to us and um, I guess for lack of a better term, cavemen, you know, uh, humanoids. Like I'm not a scientist, so bear with me. Um, like the Hobbit people, I believe that they could possibly still exist down in Indonesia, where the little Hobbit person was found on the island of Flores. Um, in I think Russia and Siberia, the sightings that they have of a creature much like Bigfoot looks smaller to me in the little footage that I've seen, and in the descriptions, it sounds like a caveman or a wild man. Um, it's not giant like Bigfoot, from what I understand. So the idea to me that relic hominoids still exist is pretty it's pretty substantiated with a lot of the claims I've seen and read. So would it surprise me if maybe Bigfoot isn't discovered, but maybe the Hobbit people, like a little tribe of hobbits in Indonesia, or on some crazy island, or somewhere out in the wilderness in the jungles, are found? It would not surprise me if Bigfoot is found. I would be ecstatic, and I would not be surprised. I'll tell you that. Um, if a living dinosaur was found somewhere on Earth, I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. If the Loch Ness monster actually turned out to be a plesiosaur, I would not be surprised. I would be ecstatic. Do I think it's a plesiosaur in Loch Ness? No, I don't. But that's a topic for another show. But, you know, Bigfoot skull hoax, bunch of BS. I hope this doesn't, what if this inspires more hoaxers to go, "Oh, I could do it better than the coyote. Look how quick he got found out." you know, and it's tough now, especially with everything known about the anatomy of a foot, especially when it comes to Bigfoot footprints. you know, I'm sure there's somebody out there crafting a clever hoax right now. And that doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. But it's something we have to deal with. But that's why we have experts like Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum and so many others out there quick to stomp these little fires out. So I'm grateful for them. But we've got some videos here today. They span the categories of weirdness. We've got ghosts, we've got cryptids, we've got um, UFOs. So I guess let's get into some video reviews, huh? This first video, I believe, is of something that scares the hell out of me. Um, I would rather run into a Bigfoot in the wilderness than see something like this. And what's messed up is I want to see something like this so that I can see it with my own eyes. Much like Bigfoot, much like UFOs, shadow people. When you hear these stories about shadow people, they intrigue me. I know a couple people that have seen shadow people, and they're super, super scary. Like, there's no other way to put it. This scare the hell out of me. If I saw a shadow person, my soul would leave my body. You know, that's like a joke on TikTok. You see these videos and it's like, oh, wait for the end. My soul left my body. If I saw one of these, it would leave my body for sure. My soul would go, whoop, see ya. Bag's already packed, gone. But let's take a look at this first video. Oh, I should disclose this for future viewers and people that are listening to the show that maybe go to view the video later to see these videos. Sometimes Matt and I get strikes from YouTube and Facebook, and it's because of the music that is played in some of these videos. So there's been a couple of videos that I've had some strikes on that I've had to go and mute the sections with the copywritten material. So if you're watching this in the future and the video during the video is completely silent, it's because I've had to mute the video. But for those of you watching live, you're in for a treat because we get to see the whole thing and hear the whole thing. So here we go. Here is the first video. Let's check it out.
What lurks in the shadows?
Dogs are ready for bed. It's just a peaceful night here. Getting ready to go to bed myself. What the fuck is that? What? Oh, God! Fuck!
All right, now you can't see it too well, but I see exactly what she's talking about. In the doorway on the left side, you see a shadow, and then you see it disappear. This lady is sitting in her living room. She's got a couple animals, and she looks down the hallway, and her reaction says it all. She's scared. Let's check it out one more time.
What lurks in the shadows?
Dogs are ready for bed. It's just a peaceful night here. Getting ready to go to bed myself. What the fuck is that? What? Oh, God! Fuck!
Pardon the language. But you hear her go, what the is that? And you see the shadow, and then it just disappears. Very crazy. Obviously, we have to go with this story. There's a couple animals, and the lady is scared, and she reacts much like I would. What the is that? Very, very interesting. Is it real? I don't know. I don't know why a lady would fake something like that, unless she's monetized on TikTok and she wants to make some money. But she sure as heck didn't stand up and go running towards the thing. Very short video, 16 seconds long. But intriguing nonetheless. Shadow people. I don't know if any of you that are going to watch or listen to this show have ever seen a shadow person. I have not, but I can imagine it would be quite frightening. Some people very close to me have seen shadow people and have seen floating black masses in a room. And that scares the hell out of me. But I want to see it. I want to go somewhere haunted where I could potentially see something like that. Because if I saw it with my own eyes, I'd be able to cement my feelings that they exist. Do I believe that shadow people exist and that people see those things? Yes. I've seen video evidence that I think is pretty compelling, but until I see it with my own eyes, it's just video evidence, you know? So let's check out this next video. This one is compelling as well. Could very well be fake, but let's check it out. This is a video shot into a tree line, and you see something pretty ominous. Blurry ass video, man. God, they piss me off so bad, but I have to play them because they're interesting to me. This one, on the surface, you're almost expecting to see Bigfoot, or some sort of cryptid in the woods. And what you see is a dark figure. And by dark, I mean black. If you ask me what I thought it was, I would have to play devil's advocate and say it was somebody wearing a cloak, a black cloak. But there's just something ominous about it. It's funny when I watch some of these clips where I just don't feel like they don't feel ominous to me. But then some I watch, I'm like, it's just creepy. And it's not the music or anything like that. It's just the way it moves, the way it acts. And by it, I mean in this case, this shadow or this cloaked figure. Could it be a Sasquatch? I don't think so. But then again, what if there was you hear cases. Okay, so you hear cases of shadow people. Sometimes they are gigantic, like 10 feet tall. Sometimes a little less, 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet tall. But you don't just hear cases of shadow people the size of regular human beings, 5 or 6 feet tall. You hear some of these things are huge. This one doesn't appear to be huge, but it does appear to be quite thick. Thicker than a Snickers. Let's check it out one more time. It almost seems like there's more than one. But regardless, creepy footage. Hey, Aaron, I have the chat open right now. Earlier I had some technical difficulties, of varying degrees. But the equipment is working now. Hopefully my signal stays up. But we had the washing machine going. I had this ominous fly that was stuck in the blinds. Unfortunately, I had to murder him. So that fly met his untimely demise, because I didn't want him to ruin the stream. But Aaron from Australia, Peckerwood Customs on YouTube, is wondering why they're panning in and out of the video. I'm not quite sure, man. Let's take a look one more time just because it's interesting to me. And gosh, big furry things in the woods, one thing. Black shadow figures or cloaked individuals. If this wasn't hoaxed and they were seeing that would be scary. I would be less scared of Bigfoot than I would of a cloaked figure. All right, that's enough. Yeah, I have no idea why they're panning in and out. It's a little weird. So sometimes when I see these videos, depending on what TikTok they come from, if they come from somebody's personal TikTok and it's an original video, I always have to go look at their other videos just to see if this is the only time they film something crazy or if they have a series of crazy stuff they've filmed. let me play this video for you, and I'll give you a little background on this person. So this next video, I believe, comes from the same person. Um, so it's definitely interesting that they saw this too. Let's check this out. This is also a video where they're shooting into the woods. Check this out. My bad. um, let's play that one again. I accidentally clicked out of it. This time you see conveniently a little break in some trees, and you see what I can only describe as a bipedal, furry thing passing through the trees. And you can basically see it from the neck up. You might be able to catch some shoulder in there too. Let's check it out one more time. Same account. Very interesting. Now, I don't know if these videos were filmed on the same property. It looks like it to me. But when I see the same person video two things that are crazy, and especially on the second video, it says, "Oh, Bigfoot hunters are going to want to come talk to me." I'm like, that sounds like an invite for some attention. What are the odds that you're going to catch a video of a cloaked figure in one video? And I say cloaked because that's the best description I can come up with. And then in another video, you're going to show what shows a clear, I shouldn't say clear, a better shot of a bipedal something that appears to be furry or hairy walking through the trees. What are the odds? Now, maybe her property's plagued with these things. But this second video, man, I'm not buying it. Let's take a look again. It looks like a guy in a suit. It really does. Yeah, so, when I see the second video, the first one was a little bit more compelling, but it could be somebody just in a cloak. And then I see the second video and I go, I want to believe it's a Bigfoot, but it just doesn't. It's got a little bit of a, I don't know, watching this second video after I saw the first one, and then I did a little research and I saw that she has more videos, and I was like, what's this one? I don't know. I'm calling BS on both of them now. I have no choice. Why are you just videoing the tree line? A lot of this, like these videos, the story tells me enough. And if you're just randomly recording into the wilderness and you happen to see something twice, in one, it's a black cloaked figure, and the second one is a little bit more, easy to say, oh, this is a Bigfoot. Look at this. My BS flag, my BS meter starts going, beep, 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 beep. You know what I mean? So I have to call BS on it. Now, maybe she comes out with some better footage. Maybe she's plagued by these things, and so she hears things in the woods and she turns her camera on. You never know. But until we hear the rest of the story, I got to lean towards BS. And that first video with the shadow person, not enough of a story. I was a little, I was partially convinced, with her reaction. But again, randomly shooting a video and you just happen to catch something. What are the odds that you just randomly video the forest twice and you catch two crazy things? Man, I'd go buy some lottery tickets, But let's get into this next video. This next video goes into the realm of ufology, and we often talk about unidentified flying objects and unidentified aerial phenomenon. And then you hear about USOs, unidentifiable submersive objects or submersible objects or submerged objects. Here we have a video of a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, and it does something very interesting. Let's check out this video. I think you know where I'm going with this. Let's check it out.
Same wind, topside, gust of 40.
What? Splashed. Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
This is another government released footage video, and it shows a UFO going right into the water. We've talked about this. What is it with the government and starting to go, oh yeah, okay, so UFOs are real. All of a sudden during COVID, and there's something going on here, folks. I don't know if I trust them. Who trusts the government, right? Who trusts the US government? Not me. So when they start releasing this footage, I'm like, okay, you obviously don't care if the people know. So what's your plan? What's your agenda? What's your motive behind releasing this footage? But this is definitely interesting. Let's check it out again. Watch the object go into the water, and you can hear these people say it's splashed. So they see this object go right into the water. That to me is weird.
Same wind, topside, gust of 40.
What? Splashed. Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
U.S. Navy footage. Why would they let this get released? Was it leaked? Is there something like that was leaked? Guess what? They're going to find out who leaked it, and they're going to have a nice comfy bay or a bed in Guantanamo Bay or something, Gosh, what if you were in the military, okay, and you're on a submarine or on an aircraft carrier or a pilot, and you see something like that, either under the water or in the sky, and your superiors say, hey, you didn't see a damn thing. You're not telling anybody about this. Maybe that's why I never got into the military, because if I saw something like that, you couldn't keep my mouth shut. So much so that I would try to get a hold of every major news outlet. Can we trust them? No. But I would try to put it out there, and I would make it widely known. I am not suicidal. I am not, I don't plan on disappearing. You know what I mean? I don't drive my car excessively fast. I'd be doing everything to make sure people knew who I was, that they could potentially be after me, and that I'm not trying to die, because I would imagine that people that release this kind of stuff get disappeared really quick. Let's watch this video one more time, just because it's cool and thought-provoking. Let's check it out.
Same wind, topside, gust of 40.
What? Splashed. Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
I don't know if you guys caught the text on the video. I know those of you listening didn't, but or can't. So it mentions on there that this thing was traveling at speeds of 230 miles an hour. Now, one thing that's interesting about these accounts of USOs is that when they go into the water or when they come out of the water, there is no disturbance in their speed. They don't slow down. It's almost like they're what's the word? Not transgender. Trans medium or something like that. They can travel in and out of air and water without resistance. God, I can't think of the word right now. I think it's transmedium. I could be wrong. Let me find out really quick. Good old Google. I'm not seeing it. I don't want to waste your time. Interesting video nonetheless. Um, again, super suspect that these videos are coming from the U.S. military. Super suspect. It makes me wonder, do we believe that these are real videos? Can we trust these people? I'm starting to lose trust in people like Jeremy Corbell. You might know him from some of his documentaries and research into the UFO subject. He was on Joe Rogan with Bob Lazar. He made the Bob Lazar documentary. And I just don't know how I feel about Jeremy Corbell, because he's starting to say some things that make me question his motives. And one thing that UFO people, that are trying to disclose the reality of UFOs and these videos and things, when they start talking about these aliens potentially being a threat, okay, Space Force, the idea that these are hostile alien beings. Let's face it, folks. If these aliens wanted to invade us, the technology that they've displayed so far tells me that we probably don't want to mess with them. It also tells me that if they wanted to destroy us, they could do so very easily. We've talked about this on the show before. There's accounts of them shutting down missile sites, nuclear missile sites. That doesn't say war to me. If they wanted to prevent us from destroying ourselves, they'd do it for us and they'd destroy us. So it makes me question their motives. If these things are real, which I believe they are. I don't know if the videos that the U.S. government is putting out are real, but I do know that people are seeing things in the sky. I do know that there's been, all sorts of talk through the history of mankind of gods from the sky and things like that. So I believe we are not alone. I believe that I don't want to say I know for a fact they're from outer space. What if we cohabited? Is that the right word? Yeah. What if we both existed on this planet and maybe they went somewhere else on the planet? Maybe they were a breakaway civilization on the planet. Maybe they're, I don't want to go saying hollow earth because I'm not sure. I haven't done the research, but maybe they live in the ground, maybe they were maybe they were these ancient gods. Maybe they were so vastly superior in intelligence to humans that they made us think that they were coming from the sky. You never know, that anything's possible. But if these things were really hostile, I think they would have made that known by now, especially with our technology getting ever more exponentially more dangerous. Especially with the creation of nuclear weapons. You'd think that the first hint of anything nuclear, they would have swooped in and said, all right, enough. And I think they have, but they haven't done it in what I would deem to be a hostile manner. They've been pretty civil. You know how it is when we try to take a place over. Are we civil about it? No, we go and bomb the hell out of the place. So I just don't know. I don't know what to think. Are they here for good? I don't know if they're here for good. Are they here for bad? I don't know if they're here for bad. I don't think they are. But there's something. So, who knows? We can only pontificate. We can only guess. We can only come up with ideas, and we can only talk about them. And all I know is the government does have the capability of faking an alien invasion if they wanted to. So, let me put it this way. If alien spaceships came down from the heavens and threatened us in any type of way, I don't know if I would believe it. Just because I don't believe the government. If the government's saying we all need to band together as a race, the human race, and fight these aliens. I don't know if I'd buy it. Anyways, let's check out this next video. Every time Matt's not here, I feel like I go off the rails, and I'd rather have somebody to go off the rails with. You know what I mean? Let's check out this next video.
It blows up. Yeah, that's how you recording it. You know we witnessing something.
Some guy said it was probably scuba.
Scuba?
Some guy down there said somebody's scuba diving.
Just one person illuminating
It's a light.
that brightly? Yeah, that'll. Oh, it's moving?
It keeps going back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Not a
it's,
scuba diver.
and it keep flashing too. Like,
Scuba diver doesn't fly.
and he.
So in this video, these people are out in the open water. I'm assuming the ocean, and I'm assuming they're on some sort of vessel. You know, they're not just out there swimming. Maybe a cruise ship, a boat of some kind. But what they see is an ominous light beneath the surface of the water. It is not bright daylight. It is starting to get dark, or it is starting to get light. I'm not quite sure. But, you know, they talk about how it's not a scuba diver, and I'm thinking, no shit. There's a light source underneath the water that seems to be moving around, with no real big disturbance of the water. So, I mean, you could assume that it's a scuba diver with a really bright light, you know, really close to the surface of the water. But again, it's not light outside, and I believe that would be a little bit of a dangerous scuba diving mission. I'm no expert, but it's just funny to listen to these people like talking about it, because they seem, you know, pretty down to earth folks, you know, younger. But they're questioning what the hell a light's doing moving around under the water. And I am too. So let's watch this video again, because it's definitely interesting how it moves. But I just don't know what to make of it. You know, what is down there below the water?
It blows up. Yeah, that's how you recording it. You know we witnessing something.
Some guy said it was probably scuba.
Scuba?
Some guy down there said somebody's scuba diving.
Just one person illuminating
It's a light.
that brightly? Yeah, that'll. Oh, it's moving?
It keeps going back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Not a
it's,
scuba diver.
and it keep flashing too. Like,
Scuba diver doesn't fly.
and he.
I like how they're all experts like me about scuba diving. Like, no scuba diver would be down there. As you can hear some lady in the background say something to the effect of, "Oh, somebody said it was a scuba diver," and he's like, "Oh, there ain't no scuba diver." Like, they're not buying it. I'm not buying it either. What was in the water? Who knows? This next video, USOs scare me. I'm going to go back to the USO subject for a minute. Those scare me more than anything in the sky. Why? I don't know. Maybe because I'm deathly afraid of the ocean, because we don't know what the hell is in there. It wouldn't surprise me if there was alien bases in the ocean. I'm not saying there are. I'm just saying that anything's possible. I'm going to start promoting that as our new slogan for the show. Anything's possible. This next video is set in a cemetery, and you can see all the headstones around, pretty fancy headstones. And you see something or someone behind one of the headstones. So let's check this video out. I will say that I'm leaning towards fake, but let's check it out anyway. Creepy alien or demon. Just hanging out in a cemetery. Nothing to see here. Seems legit. You know what I mean? Definitely a creepy video. Um, the camera operator is panning around the cemetery, and if you're paying attention, you can see a creature behind one of these big headstones. And when he pans back, it's gone. Now, whether it disappeared back into its original dimension or, you know, casually slid back behind the tombstone because it realizes it was seen, who knows? The video does show a close-up shot of this thing, and I mean, it's spooky. I mean, if I was in a graveyard and I saw that for real, I would shit my pants. That's what would happen. But the thing is very spooky. It seems to have a big head, and you can actually see the eyes blink, which is creepy. Um, yeah, it's like the last thing you want to see. I'd rather see a ghost in a cemetery than that thing. Jesus. Let's take another look at that thing. So creepy. I hope it's fake. Last thing I want to know is that those things are creeping around in cemeteries. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb here and say that that was not a person in a suit. Um, the arm seems a little bit too skinny and long. You'd have to find a pretty skinny person to pull that off. Now, could it be somebody in a suit? I guess. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say this is either computer generated, some type of, puppet, I guess, like um, some sort of uh, fake alien demon creature that they kind of held out and then brought back in to fake the video. Definitely creepy. You can't see that and not think it's creepy. You know what I mean? So I thought it was interesting. It didn't give me the creeps, but it definitely made me go, oh God, that was man, if I had been filming that and I was in the cemetery and I reviewed the footage later and I noticed that would scare the F out of me. Because especially if you're just going around, don't notice it, and you keep walking towards the area where that thing was, and the headstone where that thing was hiding behind was right there, and you didn't know it was there until you watched that video. That is some goosebump creepy stuff. Okay. Speaking of creepy, the concept of a basement, a dark basement, and you hearing noises or anything creepy in said dark basement creeps me the hell out. So let's check out this video. This one, yeah, creepy.
Come on, man. Shit. I know, bud. I'm not afraid, man. Come on out, man. Oh, fuck yes. Hello. Oh, fuck. Whoa. Whoa.
Creepy shit. Like the video creeps me out so much that I literally just out of, I don't know, instinct, I kind of started doing this like self-soothing while I was watching that video. I'm not even shitting you. That was real. As soon as he got to the bottom of the stairs, I started rubbing my chest. Oh man. So the guy's burning sage. Okay, the video starts with him burning sage. You can hear a loud banging, and his little dog, his innocent little dog, is sitting at the door, almost saying, "Dad, there's some down there. Don't go in there." And the dog's owner's going, the guy holding the camera is like, "Oh, don't worry, buddy. He's burning sage," which tells me maybe he's tried everything else. And somebody suggested, hey, burn some sage and cleanse the place. I don't know if you caught it, But at the bottom of the stairs, right by the wall on the left side, you can clearly see something that is a little spooky. Let's watch it again.
Come on, man. Shit. I know, bud. I'm not afraid, man. Come on out, man. Oh, look, yes, fuck yes. Hello. Oh, fuck. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
All right. That bastard ghost messed with that poor dog. The guy heard it, ran to save his dog, and the thing slammed the door in his face, trapping him in the basement. That is the scariest shit imaginable. My God. And it's a little hard to see in the video, at least from my vantage point, but and the sage smoke kind of messes it up. But you can see the shadow person, and you can see a little bit of the face. This video creeped me the hell out. I got to be honest. This one got me. Is it real? I don't know. But man, it creeped me the hell out, man. I'm not even lying to you. This one creeped me out. Let's take a look one more time. Hopefully you can see the face. As soon as he opens the door, you can kind of see the shadow person. Regardless, he goes down the stairs, turns on the light, and it's an unfinished basement. There's nothing in there, aside from a couple little things. But damn, that creepy as hell. Aaron from Australia says, I'm glad we don't have a basement. Let's just say that. And I'm sitting here going, I don't even have a basement. But if downstairs is dark and I got to go to the kitchen because my fat ass needs a snack or a drink, and it's dark down there, I turn the light on to the stairs heading down, and then I make sure I immediately turn on the lights in my house that I don't feel is haunted at all. I'm not even scared of the dark. It's just the creepiness. You know what I mean? It's creepy. Anything dark is kind of like I'm creeped out in here right now. It's daylight outside. I'm creeped out. But yeah, man. Oh God. I want to watch this video one more time, so enjoy it the last time I play it.
Come on, man. Shit. I know, bud. I'm not afraid, man. Come on out, man. Oh, look, yes, fuck yes. Hello. Oh, fuck. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
It does bother me that the videos stop so abruptly. I do think it's funny that the guy's got the sage and he's like, not afraid, man. Like the ghost gives a shit. Like, come on, dude. Oh, man, this sounds ridiculous too. I just realized how ridiculous this was going to sound. But if that was me in that house, I would have sage in one hand and my gun in the other. What's that going to do against a shadow person? Nothing at all, but it makes me feel more comfortable. But God, how creepy. I think there might be more to this whole story. I feel like we've seen one of these videos before. Now, I don't know if that was just me going through TikTok, just looking at videos or what, but I'm going to have to do some more research and see, because, you don't just have a regular TikTok and then randomly film this video. You know what I mean? Oh, creepy shit. This next video, I don't even remember what it is. I just need to not watch that one again. That one Creeps me out. Okay, let's check out this next video. Like I said, I don't even remember what it is. I do remember what it is. This one's creepy too. Seems legit. Let's check this one out. This one is basically a home video of, I believe, two children. One's playing with some Play-Doh and the other's playing with a different toy. And something strange happens. Let's check it out.
What are you doing, August? Playing with Play-Doh?
Mom, this is what I saw at the store. Hi, Grandma.
What are you doing?
Playing Play-Doh.
Okay. I believe that was two children, unless it was a mirror or something, but I'm pretty sure it's two. I wasn't really paying attention to the kids. I was paying attention to the toys because it says toy moves on its own. So of course I'm like, all right, which toy is it? Kid talks to grandma because grandma apparently is the one filming this. Now, if you're going to hoax something, if you involve children in your hoax, you're a piece of shit. Okay. Bad move. I already don't like hoaxers, but hoaxers that involve their children are some of the most despicable. And that toy moved. Okay. That little toy moved on its own. Now, at first I was like, oh, a kid could have moved it. Could have. Second time it moved, I was like, kid could have moved it. Then the toy really moves, and grandma doesn't say a damn thing. That's interesting to me. Who knows? Maybe she didn't notice it. I really want the background of this video. I really want the whole story, but we don't get that, unfortunately. But wow. Aaron from Australia. That was the video of the guy who was remodeling the house. No, not that one. This one that we just watched of the guy going into the basement, I feel like I've seen not only the same area and the door. The door is what really gets me. But I think the dog was also in the other video too. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that and see if I can pull up some more of his videos, because if his other videos are anything as close to as good as that one, or creepy, I like to see him. So I'll definitely go back and check that out. But let's I gotta see this video again. This kid's toy moves on its own. Creepy, and not a reaction from grandma. Who knows? Maybe they cut the part where she goes, holy, it freaks the hell out right in front of the kids. Or maybe she says she didn't say anything. She stayed silent because she didn't want to freak the kids out. That's even creepier.
What are you doing, August? Playing with Play-Doh?
Mom, this is what I saw at the store. Hi, Grandma.
What are you doing?
Playing Play-Doh.
Yeah, wow. I think I said I didn't realize if it was two kids or not. Those are definitely two kids. No mirror involved. Toy definitely moves. In the background, I do see a cross on the wall. The thing about hauntings, and I hear this so many times, is that it always starts out subtle, especially when it comes to like the demonic, starts out a little subtle, just a little object moving here, Little bang here, little knock here, little creepy shadow person here, and then all hell breaks loose. So I wish there was more to the story so we could find out what happened, but it seems like an old video. Um, Gosh, man, could you imagine unearthing this video like years later? Like that, like you're just trying to find videos of grandma and you were these kids, and you're like, oh, let's watch the video of grandma, see if we can find it. You go in there and you see that. Man, I got some questions. That is creepy as all get out. My God. Um, uh, Aaron asked me about the name of the TikTok. Let's take a look one more time, but I think it's one of those TikTok channels that just posts creepy stuff that they find. Let's take a look. Okay. The TikTok is at real_scary_video. So no big surprise there. So yeah, they seek out that kind of stuff. Very interesting video, very creepy. Um, Such subtle creepiness too. Not like blatant, like boom, boom, get out or anything like that. It's like just this kid's toy moving, you know, nothing to see here. Just a little toy moving, subtle enough where if you weren't really looking for it, like if somebody just showed me that video and didn't tell me anything, and it wasn't from real scary videos, and I'm just watching, I'm like, what's going to happen? I don't know if I would have noticed the toy moving on its own. Really don't. The final video of today's show is somewhat interesting. And like I said, I love it when a video that's short tells a story. And I think this one tells a pretty decent story. Whether or not it's real, I don't know, but it was definitely interesting enough for me to share. Let's check it out.
What was that?
Another one from real_scary_video. Big surprise. So this one is of a guy having a good time on a quad in a shallow river. Well, I guess it would be a creek. And he's just, riding around, braffing. And in the background, upstream, you see a creature cross the water. The guy stops the ATV dead in its tracks, points at it, and looks back at the person operating the camera, who I'm assuming is a female relative of some kind or a friend, and is pointing like, basically, did you see that? And she says, well, what the hell was that? So the story here is that she's just filming the guy on the ATV having a good time in the water, and they just so happen to catch a glimpse of this creature walking in the background. Creepy as hell, but not as creepy as the basement video, I will tell you that. Yeah, fun story told in that video. Let's watch it one more time. These types of videos really get me, because they said if it's a fake, they set it up well. Let's film you on the ATV, and then the creature will walk in the background. You stop and go, "Whoa, did you see that?" Perfect storyline in a short video of only 30 seconds. So let's check it out one more time. And then there's one more thing I want to talk about before we call it a night. Okay, so let's check out this monster footage one more time.
What was that?
Definitely tells a good story in that video, and little things I look for to help me decide, in my own opinion, if a video is real or not, is when he's pointing at it and he kind of looks, you can see him prop himself up just a little bit higher on the ATV, almost as if the creature was disappearing into the woods and he wanted to see if he could still catch a glimpse of it. That was just subtle enough for me to go, it might be real. You know what I mean? And if you're going to fake something, I just feel like it would have been more dramatic. Like, that was dramatic, but not as dramatic as it could have been if it was a fake. Now, these people might be great at faking. You never know. So those were our videos tonight. I know that the main subject of this show tonight was the Bigfoot hoax, and I will once again say, Coyote Peterson, if you ever catch a glimpse of this podcast or this episode, I want you to know I'm super disappointed that you had to do that. You really got some people's hopes up and you let them down just as quick. What a shame. Although it would have been cool to find a gorilla skull in the woods, the bigger questions are what would it be doing in the woods, in North America nonetheless. But we know it's fake. We know it's BS. One topic I wanted to talk about real quick before we sign off for tonight. The Georgia Guidestones. Did you guys hear about this? Somebody destroyed the Georgia Guidestones. Now, I've queued up something. For those of you that don't know what the Georgia Guidestones are, let's see if I can find it here. I thought I was prepared, I guess. So the Georgia Guidestones, for those of you that don't know, were destroyed a couple days ago. I'm just going to read you, for those of you that don't know what the Georgia Guidestones are, because I don't want to misspeak. I'm going to read you the Wikipedia, okay? The Georgia Guidestones was a granite monument that stood in Elbert County, Georgia, United States from 1980 to 2022. It was 19 feet 3 inches tall and made from 6 granite slabs, weighing a total of 237,746 pounds. The structure was sometimes referred to as an American Stonehenge. The creators of the monument believed that there was going to be an upcoming social, nuclear, or economic calamity and wanted the monument to serve as a guide for humanity afterward. Though initially garnering little controversy, they ultimately became the subject of conspiracy theories alleging a connection to Satanism. On the morning of July 6, 2022, the Guidestones were heavily damaged in a bombing and were later dismantled on the same day. So, very interesting. These Guidestones have always kind of creeped me out. And there was always some sort of ties to Satanism or the New World Order. Definitely interesting. Some conspiracy theorists claim the destruction was an act of God. What the hell was that? Anyways, so these Guidestones had inscriptions on them. Now, here was what they said. They were basically guidelines. Okay, there was 10, we'll call them commandments, guidelines inscribed on these stones. Number 1, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. 500 million being the population. 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. 3, unite humanity with a living new language. 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. 8, balance personal rights with social duties. 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Very, very interesting. Let these be guide stones to an age of reason. A little creepy. Now, there were also, so around the edges of these things were other translations written in 4 ancient languages, one per edge, um, starting from the top and proceeding clockwise. Babylonian in cuneiform script, Classical Greek, Sanskrit, and Ancient Egyptian in hieroglyphs. Very crazy. On the left side of the tablet was a column of text that said astronomic features. 1. Channel through stone indicates celestial pole. 2. Horizontal slot indicates annual travel of sun. 3. Sunbeam through capstone marks noontime throughout the year. These things are just creepy. Okay? Super, super creepy. What was really interesting to me is that, oh man, my buddy sent me a link. So, as it turns out, there was a time capsule that was buried at the base of the guidestones. And the time capsule was buried in early 1980, okay? There was 4 things found in the time capsule. Okay, get this. Now, I said it was buried in 1980. The first item was the October 1979 issue of Playboy with Burt Reynolds on the cover, signed by Burt Reynolds. Okay. The second item in the time capsule was the original movie soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever on an 8-track. Okay. The third item was a Peterbilt emblem off of a semi-truck. The last item or items that were found in the time capsule, this cracks me up the most. It was a bag containing 1,734 Quaaludes. Okay. Now, the current street value of 1,500 Quaaludes is around $2 million US. Okay. So whoever created this time capsule liked TNA, liked 8-tracks, liked semi-trucks, Peterbilts in particular, and either wanted to save a stash of Quaaludes for the future. Maybe it was a chance to make some money in the future. Who knows? But $2 million worth of Quaaludes. You stashed 1,500. So Quaaludes, for those of you that don't know, don't exist anymore. So if you have Quaaludes on the street, they're worth a lot of money. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Wolf of Wall Street. It's one of my favorite movies. Quaaludes played a huge role in that movie. They should have been in the credits. It should have been Leonardo DiCaprio and Quaaludes, and then Jonah Hill and Margot Robbie, and the list goes on. But yeah, whoever buried those, 1,500 Quaaludes. Wow. I mean, they were planning for the future, but they like to party. I wonder how many they kept. I wonder, like 1,700 Quaaludes. Maybe they had like 2,000, and they're like, "Oh, I'll keep a couple hundred." Like, let's put 2,000 Quaaludes in there, man. Wait, we're gonna grab 200. Definitely interesting though. If you have a chance, you should go look into the Georgia Guidestones. I've always thought they were creepy and a little ominous. The ties to Satanism, the New World Order ties, but the idea they want to, you're talking about eugenics and stuff. When you get into it, talking about the population control and things like that. So that's a little bit of a conspiracy theory. And we'll be getting into that stuff as the show goes on. I definitely want Matt here for the in-depth conversation. So I hope you guys enjoy these shows, even when Matt is not here. I know Matt's hilarious, and he's my partner in paranormal, and it's definitely better having him on the show. But the show must go on. So I told him that I would take the wheel for this episode, And I know there's going to be episodes in the future where I'm not going to be able to make it and Matt's going to have to take the helm. So I'm trying to set the bar real low for him. Definitely. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah. Maybe they forgot the Quaaludes. No, like I said, I think they had 2,000 and like, we better keep some of them. $2 million. Like, could you imagine being the guy that popped that thing open and saw the thing of pills? The guy was probably around when Quaaludes existed. So he's probably like, those are loads. He's like, nothing to see here. Just some aspirin, pockets them. You know what I mean? Oh, gosh. Over 1,500 Quaaludes in a time capsule with a Playboy, a Peterbilt emblem, and an 8-track. Dude, you can't write this shit. You can't make this stuff up. Insane. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I always have fun doing this. No matter what we're talking about, no matter what videos we're watching, it's always a good time. I hope as this podcast plays out, you guys go back and, if you're listening to this in the future, I hope you watch the videos. Who knows? Maybe some of them have been reported as BS. Who knows? Maybe in the future, one of these videos that we've reviewed just happened to be like the one video that showed proof of ghosts or something. Who knows? But a lot of fun. I did mention some documentaries earlier in the show by Chad Kalick, who I'm becoming a huge fan of. The first is Sir No Face. The second is Two Face, The Gray, and I believe there's only 3. The third one is Phantom Rider. They are very good, very thought-provoking. And if you don't know about Operation High Jump, Nazis in the Antarctic, Admiral Byrd, and the the mission they had to go down to the Antarctic and being attacked by UFOs. If you haven't heard any of those stories, you need to watch these documentaries and then go do some research on Operation High Jump. It's definitely a topic I want to talk about on the show because it's so interesting. The idea that Nazis, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Nazis were like super into the occult. Creepy guys. And it's been said that they obtained an alien spacecraft and that they reverse engineered it, and it was known as the Nazi Bell. And there's some good talk in those documentaries about it. So I'll leave you at that. Thank you for watching. Remember, anything is possible. My name is Chris Albrecht, co-host of Talking Paranormal. My co-host, Matt Monroe, could not be here this week, but he will be back next week, I hope. If everything goes well, I will also be here as well. Thank you for joining us, or me, and we'll see you later. Remember, keep an open mind, and if you have a paranormal story that you would like to share, or an experience, or maybe you've seen something, you can email us totally anonymously, but send your stories to story@talkingparanormal.com. If you want to tell friends about the show, the best way to do that is to tell them to go to Spotify, look up Talking Paranormal, or go to YouTube, Talking Paranormal Podcast, and you'll find us. Spotify's cool because they allow us to post video. So not only will you get the audio, but you'll also get the show in video form. So that's awesome. YouTube is also a great platform. Facebook, good enough to get the word out there. But we definitely want to have guests on the show. So we're just trying to grow our audience. And, anytime you try to grow something new, especially in subject matter like this, where it's, I don't want to say that the paranormal is oversaturated, but you got to bring something a little bit different. And I think that Matt and I bring our personalities to the show. And I hope you guys enjoy them as much as we enjoy producing them. So thank you for joining us here on Talking Paranormal. We'll see you next week. And once again, remember, anything